Hi, it's TEMPHUiBIS here, and man has it been a long time. I've been planning to do this video for a long while and that, but so many things got in the way, like I didn't have certain footages, yeah, to do this certain parts and stuff, yeah. Well, finally, yeah, this is finished. Half the things that was said that you're going to hear could have been said, yeah, months ago, so they could be a bit outdated there, so let that not get in the way, right? Yeah, so today, yeah, I'm going to show you my top 10 fighting game characters videos, right? Yeah, and as you know, it can be any type of game characters, you know, whatsoever. Yeah, it doesn't have to be just the fighting game characters where you fight each other. It can also be beat 'em ups, yeah, like Streets of Rage on the streets and everything and that, yeah. And it doesn't even have to be a character you use. It can be a character that you're inspired by or like the design for and everything and all that. That's what I'm talking about, yeah. And I'd expect video responses and comments for this one, yeah, because you know this is a class subject, and you know, perhaps, you know, that's how it's like, you know what I mean, yeah. And today, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off here with my number 10 character, yeah. He's also, yeah, my favourite Marvel character ever, so take a watch.
I was a fan of the Incredible Hulk since the beginning, and he always used to be my best character. I used to watch all the cartoons, I used to see him in the comics. When I was young, I actually thought he was a pro wrestler, but you know, I found out later on he's a superhero, and I always still liked him for the fact that he's like a brawler, and you know, he fights like a proper superhuman, you know, not too much special powers, just good brute force. I usually like most aggressive characters like that, so I was very pleased they put him in games like Marvel vs. Capcom, and they keep him just the way you expect the Hulk to be, you know, Hulk smashing and everything, and give him good gamma moves, and you know, they just made him very nice and brutal, and I just like the character for the way he is on there, and you know, it's just wicked. Hey, he has all of the special moves. If they decided that in the next Marvel vs. Capcom they don't put Hulk in there, you might as well count me out, because this is the character that I use. I'm very good at handling him as well.
And my next character at number 9, yeah, wears a lot of armour, and he's also in, yeah, my favourite franchise ever. You know what it is?
When I used to play on Tekken 2, I used to use Armor King. Some of the moves he did were very easier than King, so I found him quite an easy guy to use. And I also liked using him in Tekken Tag Tournaments, where you could team up with King and do the cross moves and that. It was very great. But the best thing I like the most is how they done him up over the years and made him even a more street fighting brawler, you know, giving him moves like, you know, like as if he was fighting on the streets, as if you weren't wrestling. You know, he's still a wrestler, which is still great. He's still got his stuff, but they've made him more of a proper fighter, which is very great, and I really like that in the character. Everybody knows here that he's King's mentor. Well, he's the first one, but the new Armor King here is going to be more of like King's rival, because in his eyes King's betrayed the first Armor King by teaming up with Murdock. And usually I'm not into storylines in fights, but it would be good to see what happens after this. So Armor King's still one of my best. It's still a great fighter.
And character for number 8 is a character I don't even use.
Belenko has got to be one of the most unique characters I've ever seen in my life. You know, he's completely different in the way, you know, his overall look. That he's not only he's green, you know, he's got the big orange hair all over his body that makes him completely different, and his savage fighting skills makes him more of a beast. People used to debate, yeah, was he actually human at the beginning, but then, you know, you find out he is a human guy, just someone who grew up in the jungle, so you know, he fights with animal instincts, which I just think is definitely different for a character. I like his fighting style. I like, you know, you can use him with electricity. Unfortunately, the way to do his moves was always a put off for me, and I couldn't do the moves and stuff. So even though I liked him as a character, I never really used him in the games. And another thing that I definitely liked about Belenko is how they build him up. Like, they made him from like some beast who was uncontrollable to, you know, a character that cares and fights for his mum. I mean, he even says to Abel, I was lonely until I saw my mama again. I know how you feel. Don't give up. I'm thinking, wow, that came from Blanca. You know, he's become a more caring person, and you know, it's like he's got something to fight for, and you know, it puts people more on his side, really. And he's just a brilliant character, and you know, he's definitely just one of my best for the uniqueness, because he's definitely unique.
And for number 7, this character is in one of the most biggest fighting game franchises ever, but unfortunately I only like him in one of the games in the franchise. Yeah, that's right. I only like him in this one specific game in the franchise.
When I first saw Reptile in Mortal Kombat 2, I was amazed, yeah, how he was actually like an Anthro lizard man in a human skin suit type thing. I thought that was pretty funky, you know, how you're able to fit in that suit. And when you saw it in the film, you saw that it was more like a reptile was just a little lizard and fell into some statue thing that turned him into Reptile. I thought that was all pretty cool, but it seemed as if the story was changing each time. And later on in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, they sort of just made it like an Anthro Reptile in the Lin Kuei suits, which I thought, yeah, was actually better personally, and the design of him is wicked as well. I just like the way he looks, and the styles that they give him, yeah, I thought matched him pretty perfect. You know, the Hungar style and the crab style, you know, and the sword that they give him. I thought it was just a lovely combination, and I just knew he was just my character right there, you know, from first sight, you know. And I just liked him more. I thought he was better like that. And I was doing all these moves, and the thing I didn't really like that much, yeah, was his fatality. It wasn't sick enough for me. But then again, I didn't think, yeah, any of the fatalities in the 3D Mortal Kombats weren't all that really. But for Reptile, I definitely got to say he does look unique. He's very, you know, it's very good to see an Anthro character wearing like the Lin Kuei, like ninja type suits. I thought it was just very different, pretty cool.
Oh yeah! Now, yeah, and now number 6. We're going back to the big guys right now, yeah? Back to my favourite franchise. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Craig Murdock. He's just a character that's just bringing it to the table. You know, he's an MMA fighter. I noticed there's a little stereotype here making him like he's a very, very gruesome and brutal, no friends type guy. You know, they make it like that, but he is definitely a tough person, and he is a character that I like using. You know, I've got used to his moves. I like, you know, he's got his street type fighting and still keeping it to the ground. You know, he's got stand up and he's got grappling, so it's pretty cool. He has his brilliant moves, and I like the moves that he has, and I like the funny throws from all different areas, and it's just all different. You know, sometimes I always say, man, I really wish, yeah, this character was real life. Well, he is real life, yeah. He's based on Nathan Jones, who unfortunately only had one MMA match in his life, but it's great to see them starting to care more about MMA and start bringing it into games a bit more often, so I really like that. It's very great.
See that fast combo, yeah? Now for number 5, yeah, one of my favourite martial arts is Muay Thai. It's one of my best styles ever. So for number 5, I have clearly got to say
Sagat. Definitely a Muay Thai icon. Whenever you hear Muay Thai, you're probably going to just say Sagat, you know. And what makes him distinctive is how massive he is. You know, they usually call him the Mountain of Muscle, and of course the eye patch. Apparently what happened is that Dan Hibiki's father blinded him in one eye before he killed him. I mean, I only heard that story from one place. I don't know if that's true or not, but still, let's get on to Sagat's fighting style. You know, his moves are absolutely fantastic. Personally, he doesn't seem as much Muay Thai-ish as I thought he would be, really. I guess, yeah, that he's more of a street fighter than Muay Thai. You know, he mixes his style with other things, which is still brilliant in a way. It's still fantastic. The Tiger Knee is what brings it, Muay Thai style. Tiger uppercut is pretty brilliant as well, and I like you know, everything else. He's one of the biggest guys, so you can actually hit people from almost any angle really, which is a good advantage. And I usually use Sagat a lot. I usually kick most people's asses. You know, I remember I used to use Ryu, but when I started using Sagat, it was a bit better because nobody would know what I would attack with. So, and overall, he's definitely a character I like seeing a lot.
And number 4 isn't human.
Ruru is the secret character in Bare Knuckle 3, also known as Streets of Rage 3, and there's 2 ways to get him. One, you go to stage 2 and you defeat Bruce, who's the trainer of Ruru, and you don't defeat Ruru at all. You kill Bruce, and Ruru joins you, and you find when you die, get a game over, and then you get to select him, which to me is the long way. You know, there's also a cheat where you can just beat him from the start. And since he's my best character, I do like using him from the start. And the best thing I like about him is how unique he is. Yeah, it's great to always have a boxing kangaroo. I mean, everyone knows about boxing kangaroos, but with the way this kangaroo dressed, he probably looks more like a kickboxing kangaroo. He looks like a Muay Thai kangaroo. You know, he has his moves, the lovely spinning attack. When he kicks you in the stomach, I just think, no man, you know, you can't be having that. That's gotta hurt. So I always liked, you know, he was always my favorite character, yeah, in Streets of Rage. I could have wished he was in Streets of Rage 2, and I always used to like just busting up people with him. It would be me teaming up with friends, so it could be like Ruru and Axel taking it to the streets, and I used to just bust up people so much, yeah. So you just got it's just brilliant when you just have a unique fighting style fight, and you know, an animal with you for a change is very great, man. So I definitely like Ruru. Ruru's definitely top for me.
Now, Sagat may be known as the Muay Thai king, but I personally believe not all of his moves are much Muay Thai-ish, right? So let's go for number 3. Let's go to a Muay Thai fighter whose moves I feel is a bit more Muay Thai-ish.
Addon is Sagat's pupil. Later on, Addon turns his back on Sagat and learns more for himself and becomes a very brilliant Muay Thai fighter of his own. I believe his skills look more Muay Thai-ish, and when I usually play a game that has Addon in him, I'm usually always picking him. And I like his personality. He's the type of guy who's confident, he can beat anybody, and you know, he just always wants to show how brilliant he is, and he sticks, you know, he's very loyal to the Muay Thai, you know, because he does the rituals. He's just one of those characters, not that big, but so ripped, and just lets his moves do the talking as well as him doing the talking. And he uses his knees a lot to the extent, and unless he's like one of those type of guys who really likes to knee kick people in the chin. And boy, that's just delivering a lot of pain, really. I think he's a very great fighter, and you know, most of these characters, I wonder who's he based on. There's probably loads of people he was based on, but I really like this character. I really like the way he is, and I like using him as well. And when I started using him, I remember I used to put so much pressure on other people. It was very perfect. So I really enjoy him as a character. I think Addon is definitely got to be one of the best ever.
Sure you can. Okay, that felt good. Now, for number 2, what do you get when you cross a Muay Thai fighter with a rat?
You get Ray Rat. This rat is out of control. You know, he's one of these fast, hyperactive characters, yeah, who just doesn't stop fighting until it's just over. You know, he's got very fast moves, he's a very fast character, and he's very powerful as well. You know, he's just like wicked, you know, fighter. This is the character who just goes mental on anybody, yeah? And would he go soft on a woman? No, he wouldn't. Yeah, this rat ain't fucking about. I'm telling you, this is one of the hardest characters to face, you know, when you're playing against a computer, and he's only on the 2nd stage. Once you pass the 2nd stage, the rest of the game is kind of easier. And usually when I sort of play against him, I have to actually use him himself to beat him, and I have to do it cheaply as well. The best thing I like about this rat is that he's a Muay Thai fighter as well. He also does the Muay Thai moves very well. You know, they add a little bit of a cartoonish style there with the face pulling, but when he goes berserk, it's just a combo that you just can't get past. It's a very sick combo. It's the best thing I like about this character. You know, it's the first ever character to really make me an Anthro fan. It's this character that got me into Anthro a lot. And another thing that got me into Muay Thai as well. It's from this time, that's when I was like looking at Anthro characters more, and I was looking at Muay Thai more. This was the character that first brought me into it. You know, and I just got to say, definitely one of the best. And look at his winning pose. This rat's a bad boy.
And number 1. Yep, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you guys must know me know me a lot by now. You must know, yeah, what number 1 is. Come on, you know what it is. Roll it.
Yes, people, it is King. Where do I start? Everybody knows every beat-em-up game always got to have a wrestling character in it. But to me, I've got to say this character is by far the best wrestler ever. If you was to take a wrestling character from another game and put him in the same game with King, I'd say that this wrestler would have no chance against King. King knows almost every move there is. King's like a pro wrestler, pro luchador. You know, he knows his wrestling style. He's also a bit more of the street fighting base as well. Very great. He just knows how to fight and knows how to just put it on. He's very focused. He's a calm fighter as well, and he puts everything in just absolutely perfect. You know, he has combos with the throws. He knows each other things brilliantly. I just thought, man, you know, this character he's just a mad boy character. When I first started with him, I could not get used to any of the moves. But when you really start getting used to him, yeah, you just knew, yeah, that you're working yourself properly, that you're training yourself to play games more better. He's basically made me better at games, and it's just, you know, it's just a wicked challenge that when you start using a character like this and you start getting used to his moves, you know you've achieved something. And and the best thing I like is his background. You know, he was a manager of an orphanage, and you know, he fights for the children, which is a brilliant thing. And even the King before it, the King in number 1 and number 2, also was a fight for the orphanage. One thing they're both based on is Tiger Mask. They're actually based on the Tiger Mask series, the animated series. I could see that there was brilliant things like that. He's also based on a luchador wrestler as well. You know, and I think wicked. You know, he's just one of the best. He's just definitely the best character, man. Definitely, he's definitely the best character, best wrestler that I know. I really wish it. This is the character that I actually wish was real. This is the character that I wish was real, and that's why I'm so heartbroken that he's not even in the film, Tekken. This is the best character ever.
Well guys, yeah, that's my top 10 fighting game characters videos. So, you know, like I said, yeah, please do a video response here, or a comment below, yeah, your top 10 fighting game characters. Remember, it doesn't have to be a character you use. You might like him for the design or inspiration or something, or it doesn't have to be just fighting games like Tekken. It can be Streets of Rage, Final Fight, you know, anything, man, anything of your choosing. Yeah, just tell me, yeah, your top favourites, and I'll be happy to hear them. Thanks very much, guys. I had a lot of fun doing this, yeah. So I'll see you all later. Love who you are.